Hello Internet, my name's Lave and I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, aka Salazar's Revenge, aka Pirates of the Caribbean 5. This one is directed by Joachim Ronning and Espen Sandberg. They're Norwegian directors. I did have a look at their filmography. I don't know their work, but they've taken over the directing duties from Gore Verbinski. So Johnny Depp is back as Captain Jack Sparrow. This time around he gets caught up in a quest to find another MacGuffin. It's Poseidon's trident in this, which has the power to control the seas and break all of the curses of the ocean. So Sparrow is going after that, all the while he's being pursued by Salazar, played by Javier Bardem, who was once a pirate hunter but is now a ghost, and he's got a score to settle with him, so he's going after the Sparrow. Now, as far as the other films go, I sort of remember quite liking the first one. I thought it was just a bit of swashbuckling fun. 2 and 3 got really convoluted, and 4 I really can't remember. I have seen it, but I just cannot for the life of me remember it at all. That's the one with Penelope Cruz, right? And Ian McShane? So safe to say I didn't have high hopes going into this. What I will say is that I think it is more memorable than 2, 3 and certainly 4. I did like the fact that it sort of goes back to the first one and takes elements from that I liked, namely the unstoppable undead army type characters with some really cool effects. And they have got a really good villain in Javier Bardem's Salazar. I thought he did a really good job. He's really intimidating in some scenes, particularly in one where he's on this ship and he's taking over it, and every time he taps his sword he gets his crew to kill someone. I like that, and I also like the fact that he always leaves one member of the crew alive to tell the story. That was cool, but on a few occasions I did really have to concentrate on what he was saying. I did get it, but I really had to concentrate. And then of course you've got Johnny Depp reprising his signature career-defining role, Jack Sparrow. I will say that I thought that it was a more restrained performance of Jack Sparrow, and they sort of do work that into the story, but certainly it feels toned down a notch. He's not going around like, savvy. He's more like, savvy. He's still the Jack Sparrow that we know. He still gets drunk. His crew have deserted him and he's escaping from all of these weird scenarios in fantastical ways. But certainly I feel that his performance is toned down a little, and I think the film benefited from that. And I actually really liked a flashback sequence in this film where you see him as a young boy and he's been digitally de-aged. I actually thought that was the best sequence in the film, and it explains why Salazar hates him so much. It explains how he gets his weird compass and all his clothes. I really liked that scene, and in fact I wished the entire film was focused in on that. Instead, the film does get convoluted by introducing new characters, this guy and her. I haven't seen these actors in other films. If I have, I don't remember them, and I don't think their performances are that great in this, but their characters do sort of tie into the other films, but it's their characters that are driving the plot to find the MacGuffin, and the chemistry between them I didn't really buy into. It does feel like they are unknown actors doing their first big blockbuster, and as I say, I found the flashback sequence far more entertaining. A host of other characters from the previous films do turn up in this film as well. Geoffrey Rush is back again as Barbossa, and I will say that they actually do try to humanise his character towards the end of this film. I thought that was okay. And what's really curious is that Golshifteh Farahani plays a witch in this, and she's pops up every now and again in the first and second act, but then she just completely disappears by the third. It's like, where did she go? But I bet she isn't complaining too much. In fact, I bet none of the cast and crew are, because the location shooting is absolutely gorgeous and stunning. I think it's filmed in Australia. It's stunning, and that's something that is really consistent for the franchise, and it benefits from all of the location shoots. It does look really stunning, and then they back that up with some really cool CGI effects. As I say, Javier Bardem's underwater effect for his crew is really cool. I really liked the design and the mechanics of his ship. That's really cool as well. And there's even some ghost sharks as well. That's pretty cool. And the directors do a reasonable job with all of the action set pieces. It tonally feels consistent with Gore Verbinski's style, and then they're throwing in some slow-mo shots in the vein of like Zack Snyder and 300. But they do come up with some interesting ideas and some interesting shots, particularly in one scene involving a guillotine. I thought that was visually quite entertaining. But then I was really disappointed with the third act final showdown, which does feel very run-of-the-mill and does over-rely on green screen and CGI. And as I say, I was more interested actually in the flashback sequence sequence. I just wish the film had focused in on that. That was really cool. So that's my thoughts on Pirates of the Caribbean 5, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. I was reasonably entertained throughout this film, and as I say, I'm not the biggest fan of the franchise. It does feel more like the first one, which I guess is a positive, and it's more memorable than 2, 3 and 4, but I'm not going to remember it this time next week. I'm sure if you're a fan of the franchise, you will like it, and good for you. So thanks very much for watching my review. As always, I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like, and don't forget to share the lave. Savvy?